Hello, and welcome back to the third episode of the Green Chemist podcast. I'm Dr. Barbara Olioso, the Green Chemist, and I've recently come back from New York, a very vibrant city. And in this episode, I want to take you to the Suppliers Day, fantastic trade show which takes place once a year at the Javits Center. And it's a really green roots event. It's run by volunteers of the New York Society of Cosmetic Chemists. So a lot to share with you today. The reason why also I went to New York was for a very special occasion. I went there to collect the Cosmetics and Toiletry LA Award for the Green Chem Finder. I'm very proud of it. The platform won the award for the devices, tools, and testing category. And it was such an honor, such a great lunch there and meeting colleagues. It's really a great acknowledgement from the industry. So I'm really honored to have received that award. And it also confirms the importance and validity of the Green Finder, the Green Chem Finder as a tool for formulators. So going back to Suppliers Day, it's very much a mirror of the cosmetic industry in the US. And what you see right there, which is very trendy, is biotech and precision fermentation, along with obviously AI and exosomes, which is another buzzword. And not only plant-derived exosomes, but also animal-derived ones. The US is also embracing multifunctionals and using them for antimicrobial protection. So it's very interesting to see the Personal Care Council, which is the US Industry Association, that has published a document on using multifunctionals for cosmetic preservation. So more on that in a bit. But I would like to start out to talk about AI, biotech, and green chemistry. I attended this fantastic presentation done by a chemist, and basically was talking about how they used AI to work out a new chemical route to which also fulfills green chemistry criteria to manufacture niacinamide. Niacinamide, until recently, was only available from a partially derived source because of the complex way to make it from the usual method. So they only use natural up to a point. But this clever company used AI to find a new way of making niacinamide, so using natural reagents. And so it's 100% natural, and they uses a natural enzyme instead of the synthetic enzyme of the traditional system. And the result is a 100% natural niacinamide, which is available from the industry. And it's also Cosmos approved, so it's validated by this certification. And the reason why I'm also so excited about this is that niacinamide, which is a skin hero ingredient we all know about, is also a multifunctional, because not many people know it has great potential as an antibacterial ingredient. And so on the Green Chem Finder, this ingredient is now featured. If you enter niacinamide there and you register, which is free, and you can see the supplier. And you can also see the references to the study, which was done on niacinamide 2 years ago, where it was tested on the classic pathogens we use in preservative efficacy testing. And so basically the mode of action is that it stops the life cycle of the cells. So it's a very interesting mode of action. So it's very mild for the skin. And the use level to achieve the bactericidal activity is quite high. You will see on the Green Chem Finder. But you can be used as, in combination with preservatives and other multifunctionals to achieve broad spectrum protection at lower percentages. So have a look at that. It's very interesting. So I was saying biotech is a buzzword. They're really pushing boundaries and they're challenging, in a way, palm oil derivatives. And so they're really pushing the concept of producing from biofermentation ingredients that can replace palm oil or palm kernel oil derivatives, but it's still a little bit unclear. The concept is exciting, but the details are not quite there yet. What the inky is, what the melting points are, and the validation like of a third party, like certification body, to know if there are other biomasses involved, what kind of supply chain is present in the production of these kind of materials. So I believe in the potential of biotech. I think it needs to be combined with more data, more transparency, not simply selling the concept. It doesn't use the land, it doesn't cause any deforestation. But this is why I saw in these at the Sustainability Zone Theatre at Cosmetics Global, which I have the great pleasure of moderating. Every year, suppliers are becoming more transparent about their metrics, about the materials used. So transparency is really gaining momentum. Sometimes I think, oh, this is exciting, this is new. But I think because there is a lot at stake, it's good to go through all your checkpoints on your list and make sure that all the criteria are met despite the initial excitement. So I've also recently wrote a couple of articles on the key takeaways of the Sustainability Zone Theatre, and they are available on the In Cosmetics blog, In Cosmetics Connect, but I've also shared them on my LinkedIn feed. So if you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, just go on the Green Chemist and you should be able to find me easily. So next, exosomes. That was big, they were everywhere, and they're really associated with like superpowers in a way, because they are these powerhouse of incredible actives. So really, interesting delivery system, because exosomes are these extracellular communicators. So they're little signaling vesicle size between 50 and 100 nanometers. So they're these wonderful little spheres, if you like, that can packed with all these incredible actives. But that is one step towards the miracle working exosomes. The second step is really the interaction with the skin, the delivery of the actives within the vesicle. So there is a kind of discussion about what defines an exosome. So the structure and the components that can interact with the skin physiology and biology are crucial. And in fact, I was having a chat with a supplier of milk-derived exosomes, and he was saying we can claim improve efficacy and delivery because of this type of structure. And he was challenging the concept that plant-derived exosomes don't have such a structure. But as I said, this is still early days and there are a lot of webinars on this topic coming up. So I suggest you check them out, and I will as well, because I would really like to know about these fine details behind the efficacy of these wonderful materials. And the Personal Care Council published these documents on multifunctionals for microbial protection, and I was really surprised to see that, because I thought, oh, maybe there is a bit of resistance in the US, but obviously the clean beauty movement has had an impact on the industry. The document basically gives you a general overview on the things that a formulator needs to consider when working with multifunctionals for antimicrobial protection. So the pH, obviously, how does the activity how is activity affected by the pH of your formulation, the water activity. So they talk about the values of water activity hindering the life of fungi and bacterial. They go into the solubility because obviously also that's important, packaging and hurdle technology. And then they don't just look at or talk about the cosmetic science parameters. They also go into sustainability criteria. So they mention Cosmos, they mention the Sustainable Palm certification, and they also reference green chemistry principles. So all of these is basically on the Green Chem Finder, and it's great to see these alignment. And also they mention potential incompatibilities. For example, we all know clay masks are quite challenging to protect because of their ability to absorb preservatives, making them unavailable for preservation. So they give a few examples there. And I would like to paraphrase their conclusion because I think it captures, the moment really well. He says that the industry evolving demand for non-controversial, reliable solutions along changing regulations and strict certification guidelines is driving the need for multifunctional ingredients that deliver efficient antimicrobial protection while meeting consumer demands or consumers' expectations for safety. So as they put it, multifunctionals broaden the range of available options, but their efficacy must be verified and they should be handled with the same care as any other cosmetic ingredient. So I totally resonate with that, and it's great that they support the use of multifunctionals for cosmetic preservation, but they also warn you need to do your own testing, validation, etc. With your multifunctionals, which is absolutely true. And finally, to conclude, I would like to share with you a finished product I bumped into while I was walking around the show. It was a children's nail polish, which is water-based. It also contains alcohol. It claims to be low VOC. The formula is patent pending, and it uses a natural polymer from mushrooms as the film former, paired with another natural molecule to do the cross-linking so that it doesn't wash off with water. It also claims to be biodegradable and free from microplastics. I find these very inspiring, very exciting. I tried it on myself just for fun, and obviously there is a bit of room of improvement, but it doesn't matter because the priority here is giving children the opportunity of having fun with nail polish without the controversial ingredients that are usually present in mainstream nail polish. And maybe something like this, they show something interesting that can be done, it can be improved. I think it's got potential. We'll see maybe in a few years' time how the performance evolves. But children like to play, and I'm sure they would have a lot of fun with something like this. And obviously to remove it, they say just to use micellar water or vinegar. So these are my key takeaways from our Suppliers Day. I hope you enjoyed them. And please, if you did, please share it with friends and colleagues who might also find it useful. And do check the Green Chem Finder platform for new entries. I keep on updating it, and we got over 300 ingredients now, over 660 suppliers. And if there is a topic you think that will be interesting for me to cover, I would love to hear from you. So thank you very much for listening, and take care.